Now, if you're thinking about making a move right here to the Lone Star State, but you haven't quite decided which city you want to live in, this video is right for you. Now, there's 4 main cities here that you're probably going to consider if you're looking to move down to Texas. You're going to look into Houston with its vibrant culture, close to the water, and that Creole cuisine, right? You're going to take a look at Dallas-Fort Worth, which in my opinion is the true capital of Texas and the home of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. You're going to look into Austin, which is beginning to be more of a West Coast vibe and not necessarily a city in the heart of cow country. But there's a lot of nice things to say about Austin as well. You know, they have a crazy tech sector. They have world-renowned music festivals, all the way down to the F1 racing. And lastly, if you're thinking about moving to the Lone Star State, you're going to look into San Antonio, which is also deep-rooted in its own culture, spanning back to the days of the Alamo. Now, there are some main differences between these cities, and you're going to need to know about these in order to narrow down your search, and then ultimately just pick the perfect place for you and your family. And this is why so many people reach out to us and my team. You know, we can help you find your perfect piece of Dallas. So if you're thinking about making a move down to the DFW, feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. So when it comes to housing affordability, Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio are going to be significantly more affordable than Austin. You know, Austin really hit its stride the past couple of years through that COVID-19 situation, and the prices there in Austin went up like 100%. So if you're an investor and you're looking to invest in a growing market, I can see why you would look towards Austin, but you might already be priced out of that market. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm here in Dallas, and Dallas has pretty much experienced a ton of the same growth. I would say the pricing in Dallas comes in second to Austin. You know, it's still reasonable. You can get some good deals in certain areas, but if we're talking about the northern suburbs of the DFW, then you're definitely about to pay a pretty penny. Now, Houston is going to come in third for housing affordability. You know, we're still seeing really great opportunities to buy brand new construction homes there. And in a lot of the suburbs, you can get some under $350,000. You can really get a nice upgraded family home in the price range of $500 to $700K. And that's going to give you plenty of space, you know, plenty of room for you and your kids. Now, San Antonio is going to be the most affordable as it's just a plethora of opportunities to buy down there, especially with new construction. In my opinion, San Antonio has the most room price-wise to grow as the city keeps expanding year over year. And with it being such a military hub, people are coming in and out all of the time. Now, geographically, all 4 places are going to be very different, right? Houston is technically the largest city out of the 4 metroplexes, and for that reason, they have a wide variety of different landscapes throughout the city. You got the beach down in Galveston, which is, you know, on the south side of Houston, and that place is pretty coastal and flat. Let me tell you, I've been down there a few times, and the water down there is a little murky, you know, maybe not the best to look at. It's definitely not gonna mirror anything like California or when you're in Miami on vacation. It's more of a place you can just go to break up the monotony, right? You know, South Houston has trees, but they're not going to be the massive pine trees you're going to see up on the north side of Houston. The landscape in Houston is going to be pretty split. So if you're looking for, you know, trees, you're going to want to be on that north side of Houston. But if you're looking for a beach and easy access to some water, then you're definitely going to want to live on that south side, as Houston will be the only city of these 4 that are close to the ocean. You know, a lot of people have beach houses down here, and I think they call them, you know, bay houses. And Galveston is like a really great tourist spot. Now, in contrast, when you head up to Dallas, Dallas is just flat, like straight up. You're gonna have some nice oak trees, a few man-made lagoons, and a couple of areas with, you know, hill country vibes. But overall, it's just gonna be flat. Now, one thing I like about Dallas versus Houston is it's not gonna have nearly as much humidity as it's farther away from the coast, right? But please don't get it twisted. It's hotter than a teaspoon in a trap house in Thibodeau County. Yeah, that might have been a little too much. Yeah, it was too much. And with Dallas in the wintertime, it's gonna be a little colder than these other cities on the southern side of the state. During the winters here in Dallas, we're starting to get some, you know, snow like once every winter. It usually lasts about a week or so, and the temps can drop to the single digits. Now, down in Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, they rarely ever get snow, but the summer in Houston is probably the worst by far. Not only because it's the hottest with the highest temps, but also because of that high humidity. Now, Dallas also has Fort Worth alongside it, so as you head out west towards Fort Worth, you're gonna notice how it goes from Texas piney woods over on that side to oil field vibes over there on the west side, right? The first time I drove out to West Texas, I understood why so many people were depressed all the time. You remember those old football movies, right? Like, it's literally nothing but dirt. I don't even remember seeing a car wash out there because it's kind of pointless. Every car you saw was piled with dirt, and it looks like a scene straight out of Mad Max. Now, if you head down to Austin and San Antonio, to me, both are going to be some of my favorite landscapes. As much as I love Dallas, the hill country in Austin is amazing. You get these massive rolling hills. Everything's a lot more dry, so you're not having to suffer through so much humidity. And even though it's still really hot, there's plenty of awesome lakes to cool off in, right? You even have some nice lazy rivers you can go to and have some beers with the crew. You can go paddleboarding, swimming, kayaking, and a whole bunch of other outdoor activities. You also have access to Lake Travis, which you can do all types of things outdoors as well. Now, San Antonio is probably the most Texas city because it's home to the Alamo. So it actually has a river walk, which, is pretty cool and scenic. It's a big tourist attraction. There's a bunch of restaurants on each side of that, but it isn't a place where a lot of locals hang out, right? Like I said, it's mostly for tourists. Now, San Antonio as a whole is going to be the smallest out of the 4 metroplexes. So if we're looking for something a little more quaint, a little more easy to navigate, then San Antonio is going to be the place for you. Like I said, the main thing going on in San Antonio is going to be the military bases. You have Lackland Air Force Base, you have Randolph, I believe Camp Bullis, just to name a couple of them, right? Now, some of the northern San Antonio suburbs are actually some of my favorite areas to be up in Texas, like over by SeaWorld and by La Cantera. I lived in San Antonio for about 1.5 years and really enjoyed my time out there. Now, I moved back to Dallas because, like I said, I'm just biased, but they have some cool spots like the Rim where they have all types of shops and different eateries, right? That area, it's really a cool area for everybody to go and hang out. One of the best malls in San Antonio is going to be located over there, and Six Flags as well. So it's definitely worth checking out to see if any of these areas will work for you. All right, now let's talk about the vibe of all these different cities. Now, I'm sure a lot of people can give you a bunch of different takes on what I'm about to say. So when we say Houston, we're not just talking about downtown, we're actually talking about all the suburbs that surround Houston as well. You see, these suburbs have a little bit of a different vibe than the downtown sector. The city of Houston is really massive. Like I said, it's really culturally diverse. It's going to be one of the largest of the 4 metroplexes, and Houston is also known for being a big brewery. For me, H-Town really has that party scene type of feel to it. It's definitely a place you want to be if you want to be outside and socialize. H-Town is also known for being like a rap scene back in the day. Houston is also really big on sports. You have the Houston Rockets, you have the Houston Astros, the Texans are playing really well right now. You have some access to sporting events, which I know a lot of people are into. Now, a lot of the suburbs I mentioned before, those are really family oriented, especially with all those new master plan communities that are out in that area. One of my wife's good friends, she moved down there into their brand new, beautiful family house, and man, they love it down there, guys. Like, if I had to rank them, I really do believe the suburbs around Houston and Dallas are probably going to be the best as far as being family friendly. But like I said, I'm a bit biased and I do like Dallas more than I like Houston. And as we move on to Dallas, and what I can say is just fantastic city overall, right? Dallas is a super big sports hub with the Mavericks. You have the Dallas Cowboys, the Rangers, you got the Dallas Stars, and we even have a professional soccer league as well. Another big differentiator of Dallas from Houston is the suburbs are much more interconnected. When I'm in Houston driving out to those suburbs, there's like a gap between the downtown and some of those suburbs areas, meaning you have to drive all over the place, right? Houston has a lot of no man's land in between these suburbs and downtown, and for me, that's just not really conducive to me wanting to be in Houston, right? Everything is just so spread out. But with Dallas, a lot of these suburbs are, interconnected. So when you're driving from one town to the next, it's really close. It's not too far apart. Now, there's a couple of towns that are really popular around DFW that kind of have that gap I mentioned. Places like Forney, which Forney is growing so fast, it really won't be like that for long. I really believe that besides the north side of DFW, the east side will be one of the next major areas of expansion. They just announced a brand new 131,000 square foot HEB out in Forney. And if you're not from Texas, HEB is a big deal. Just think of it as the Starbucks of grocery stores. Now, Forney is one of those areas that's blowing up with new construction like a lot of the other suburbs in Houston as well. And it's going to be one of the most affordable suburbs in the DFW. So if you find yourself wanting to check out some videos about Forney, you can check out these videos right here in the cards. Now, Dallas has expanded tremendously in the last 5 years. You're starting to see a lot of development up in the Frisco area, which is the northern part of Dallas. And that's going to be our really affluent area, right? Pretty much everything up there is selling for $600K and above. They're building new skyscrapers for corporate offices. I really believe the DFW is going to turn into the DFFW, right? The Dallas Frisco Fort Worth Metro. Another difference that Dallas has over a few of these other metros is there's a lot more modern construction here in Dallas. Now, you're definitely going to have to pay for it, but if you're looking for that California style white box modern glass contemporary home, Dallas has you covered. I've seen a few construction companies building these homes on IG, and I know they're making a killing on them. Now, the architectural styles in Houston are going to be, slightly more conservative. The architecture in Austin is probably going to be the coolest of them all, right? They call it Keep Austin Weird for a reason, and that applies to the homes as well. Now, one of the biggest factors that I took into consideration when I was looking at Dallas, Houston, Austin, or San Antonio, and what makes Dallas a leg up on all of these to me, is Dallas is just a very clean city. Now, Dallas has its homeless population. It has some areas that, could use some changing up, but overall, especially on the north side, they keep things very tidy all the time. There isn't a bunch of riffraff going on the north side and in the majority of the suburbs either. Now, the traffic may be another story, as there's just so many people moving to DFW right now, and it's really starting to become a problem. But it's just something you got to get used to, especially moving to such a major city. Now, as we talk about traffic in Austin, to me, it's something I really don't think they're going to be able to fix. Austin just doesn't have the infrastructure to expand at all, in my opinion. The highway literally is too small in downtown Austin, and there's skyscrapers on each side of it. They actually built a secondary highway on top of the original, but that one is full of traffic as well, so I'm like trying to figure out what they're gonna do with this. And I feel like they can't really expand over into that hill country area I talked about earlier because the landscape just isn't conducive to construction like that. There's a lot of bedrock. It would just be too cumbersome to try to make roads out there. So that expansion in Austin, I just don't see it happening. But the jury's definitely still out on that one. You know, for me, Austin is more of a singles, couples type of city. It has that real hipster vibe to it. But if you're looking to start a family or continue to grow your family, Austin's not going to be on the top of my list. You know, they have the University of Texas is over there. It's one of the main drivers there in Austin. So you have the college kids galore coming in and out every single year. Another thing about Austin is there's been a massive influx of people moving in from California, and the overall feel of the city has changed because of that tech boom. It's really starting to have these LA vibes, which I can tell you a lot of Texans aren't a real fan of. Now, San Antonio has to be the most relaxed of all four cities. It's a good place to raise a family, great place to grow in your career. You know, San Antonio is always having some type of festival. I actually met my wife down there at Mala Luna. It's this big annual festival, and I don't even know if it's been going on over the past few years after COVID, but I know they're probably gonna be trying to bring that back. I remember when I was in corporate America, we actually got days off for certain San Antonio holidays. So that just goes to show you how ingrained a lot of these festivals are in the culture of that city. You know, there's a few corporate companies stationed down in San Antonio like HEB. I know GM Financial is down there. You also have Chase Financial. USAA is another big one that's down there in San Antonio as well. So even though it's the smallest of the big cities, it still has a great corporate culture and plenty of opportunities to be had. And that's one thing I'll say about all these cities. There's plenty of job growth, plenty of job opportunities, and the Texas economies are very strong. And with so many people moving here, it's only getting stronger. And like I said, this is why you reach out to us. We can really help you hone in on an area, find you your new home, and get you situated for the next chapter of your life for you and your family. So from an economic perspective, Houston is going to be known for its oil and gas. You know, H-Town is really all about the energy corridor down there. Dallas is going to be known for more of being a tech hub and an enterprise software hub. I go to a monthly tech event for networking that happens here once every month, and there's all type of people starting or advancing their careers. You know, if you haven't already, you can go and check them out. They're called Mixer Cloud on IG. So Dallas is home to some serious corporate offices, right? It feels like a new one is moving here every single day. And if you're an entrepreneur, I say Dallas has more opportunity than any other city. I think I read a stat that Dallas is home to like a ton of millionaires and I think like 19 billionaires. But I know this is a broad overview and it should at least help you get started in your search. And if you're moving to DFW and want more information, you can definitely check out these videos right here.